8:50 as we speak to G. Scott from the Gee and Ursula Show. G, we've been talking about this all morning.
Yeah.
We got 10 total picks in the upcoming draft. We just added 3 compensatory picks.
Awesome.
That's a big word.
It's awesome.
And it's awesome. I can't remember the last time we've had this many picks in a draft.
Yeah. It's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lie to you all and tell you that I'm really excited. Like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe about the picks. And the reason why I sent a message to David and told him that I didn't know if I wanted to talk Seahawks today because I was a little in my feelings on day 2 of free agency. Let me just say this. So when free agency happens, day 1, that's the splash players, right? That's the quarterbacks. That's the wide receivers. That's the players that we know about on your fantasy football teams. Day 2, that is the sides of the meal. That's the Thanksgiving meal that's going to make everything right.
Yeah.
On the first day, the turkey, the ham, the brisket, and all of them got picked. The second day is the important sides, whether it's green bean casserole or macaroni and cheese, whatever the case might be. Well, yesterday, there's a offensive lineman by the name of Will Fries, who I thought and just knew the Seattle Seahawks were going to get this guy. I was ready to come on your show and go crazy. Like, yes, hallelujah. Wait, what? The Vikings came in and gave him a 5-year deal, $88 million? Yo, this hurts. The Seahawks needed to get him. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I hear you and everyone else, you're always talking about, well, what about the O-line? Well, what about the O-line? Well, what about the O-line? It's like saying to Mildred, well, what about my cabinets? Mildred, you got to buy some nice cabinets.
Well, what about the O-line?
You know what? Well, I'm glad you asked that. So right now, the chances are you're going to address the O-line with the draft picks you talked about. You're not going to bring anybody that's a huge impact right now. There's probably a good chance that that's not going to happen because that offensive lineman probably isn't here on day 3 and or day 4. So I want to take you guys back down memory lane a little bit. You guys remember Michael Bennett?
Of course.
You guys remember Cliff Averill?
Of course.
Guess when they was picked up? Day 2 of free agency. So I just want to put in your minds just how important some of these guys are on day 2. And look, Seattle was a destination that guys were like, hey, I'll take a little less. Cliff Averill, good friend of mine, he was like, man, I got an opportunity to go play for Pete Carroll in Seattle. I'll take less. Mike Bennett, I'll take less. And if you remember, David Burbank, you'll remember this. When Cliff Averill and Mike Bennett got here, they were hot free agents. You remember that year, they weren't even starters. They came here and weren't even starters. So, again, I know I usually have a lot of positive Seahawk news, and I'm still positive. I'm just being honest with you. By yesterday, it kind of hurt. It kind of reminded me of when I asked her on that prom date, and she said no. And years later today, this is personal. Years later today, I get to show her, this is what you missed out on. You missed out on this prom date.
And is that the sort of thing you look at Facebook and go, wow, that was a bullet dodged?
Wait. You don't? Wait. Am I the only one that gets on social media and be like, let me check on them? Woo! Dodge that bullet. Ooh, look at who they got with. Ooh. Oh, is it just me?
Gee and Ursula coming up 9 to noon.